So first one is actually TRX. This was suggested by, was it Coleman, the mastermind, and I think someone in the graduates as well. It's a very interesting looking chart. And when I say interesting, it looks pretty shit hot, to be honest. So Tron, if you're aware of kind of the main use case for Tron right now, it's stablecoins, those cheap transfers of stablecoins across exchanges and wallets. And it's pretty big right now. Now, I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked at Tron for a very, very long time. It feels like about 5, 6 years. But I believe there could be some kind of burn mechanism around every transaction. So there is some usage, some utility around it, kind of similar to BNB, I would assume. But let's maybe not dive into the TA. Sorry, the FA. The TA will really guide us. Now, there's a pretty large looking W formation here. You could also maybe make the argument there's a head and shoulders sort of form. I'm not going to even bother with a trend line. If anything, this probably looks like an ascending triangle where we're just nicely curling up, maybe find resistance here, come back down maybe to the midpoint or down here. But if I'm looking on a weekly timescale, I'm purely looking at the horizontals here right now. I don't really want to speculate with patterns. And what I see here is, well, the RSI is moving into the power zone. So above 70, great sign. Hi guys, hope you're enjoying this session of the Altcoin Bible so far. Just a reminder, if you want the full version of this session where I cover Bitcoin, the macro, current events in crypto, as well as more charts, Cherry Right, One to Watch, and Danger Zone, then make sure to become a newsletter subscriber by clicking the link below. You'll also get weekly content written by myself and the team. You'll also get access to mastermind videos, which Joe and I put together. Until then, hope you enjoy the show. Back to it. I believe this is a very strong chart. I really like the look of it. So don't mind that at all. Oh, look at that. Already had the volume up. All good. All right, let's move on over to my one to watch. Now, super similar to TRX in many ways. However, I think Hyperliquid, so this is still my one to watch. I think Hyperliquid is showing a little bit more here than TRX. I think this candle here is so strong. It is just powering through. That's what I want to see. When it rips through a level, I want to see it conclusively go through. If I just turn the volume on too, that is a big uptick in volume through a core level. So I anticipate that this level is going to hold, 54, 53. But the way the market is at, how far back we are deviated from the 10 EMA, I think, again, applying that same strategy for me personally, and just looking how, it's overheated here on the weekly a little bit. Again, overheated, it just means it is in a good spot. The bulls are really in charge here. This could just ramp higher, but I think a really good buy zone is actually just waiting a little bit longer for that 10 EMA on the weekly to continue to scroll up to the 53,000. Now, the green level, why I've got that circled, is this is the core pivot. This is where I want to be buying. I want to be buying on a retest of the mid part of the breakout. So if I just have a look here, yeah, it's around 0.382, that type of region, so $53. But to me, the horizontal is king here. The 54, 53 region, that's where I want to be forming a position. But I'm going to be patient and wait for it to come in here, test, hopefully close above, and then I'll probably form a position in my trading stack. But I like everything that this is doing. So if you own Hyperliquid, it's in a very interesting spot. If you bought it down here, I think you can just be very patient here with it. And maybe on a weekly close and validation through 53 again, I could easily have pulled up. So Ethereum. What I've done is gone Solana. I might have a gander at the other two as well, but I'm sort of hold this as my serious danger zone because a lot of people own Solana as well as the other two. So I've left. So how long ago? I think earlier on in the year I did a newsletter where I put, oh, what's the worst case scenario of some of these alts? If I'm just looking at technically, if we do follow the 4-year cycle where altcoins go into a prolonged bear phase and they, do another roll down, where are they going to land? Well, a lot of them look like they could do another 50%, and that's huge. That really is for alt. So where would that take Solana? Well, I think the movement I had down here was, $48. Now, I think you'd be pretty silly not to get interested in Solana at about $50, but anything's possible. Look, a lot of charts are kind of gearing up for this. We kind of had a rally off what we think is a low, and now we're coming back to really see if the low is going to hold. Are we going to make a higher low, or are we going to drop down to the next floor? And we have to see if this happens all over again. Now, bulls are actually gaining strength while bears are losing strength, which is actually a pretty good sign into support. So that's all nice on the weekly. Great. This is just a core level. We don't want to lose it. We can drop down. Again, there's going to be a lot of fakery, faking in and out at these types of levels too. So just be aware of that. I think operating off closes is essential rather than stop losses. And I know you might get a waterfall and you could get stopped out of a large position. Excuse me, I know you could hold on to it and it can really run a lot further than you think, but sometimes you do need to have a little bit of patience with these kind of low formations, and stop losses are there to be hit when we are grinding into certain areas. So I just wanted to throw that out there.